Senate GOP stopped the government funding and the debt raising bill and forced a showdown with the Democratic Party.
California Governor Newsom signs bill to make voting by mail permanent in California.
As the media call for GOP to move on after Arizona Maricopa County audit, let's look at essential finding of the audit.
And the feature stories of today. First, an illegal migrant team from Mexico and a self-claimed shaman from Palo Alto were caught setting fires in California.
And an interview with Steve Kirsch to reveal how COVID early treatment has been suppressed. Welcome to Wei and Kathy Show. I'm your host, Wei Fang.
And I'm Kathy Zhang. Today is September 27th.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump right into today's news. The first, Democrats are planning to spend altogether actually $5 trillion. Okay, 3.5 trillion infrastructure bill and 1.5 trillion the special spending bill, stimulus bill on on infrastructure and social spending. Okay, that will inevitably increase the national debt, and then thus needs the Congress to raise the debt ceiling of the U.S. government. All right, and the Democrat bundles the clause of raising the debt ceiling for 2 years, okay, into a government funding bill, which means to fund the government, keep the government funded, and then try to pass them all. So what's the result? And the GOP blocked that bill on Monday with a 48 to 50 vote. Why they can stop it, because they need 60 votes to pass. So only 50. The GOP is not helping with the Democrat on that bill, so that bill is failed. So what does that mean? That means the federal government will run out of funding on September 30th. After that, federal government will have to shut down. And the second, debt ceiling, which must be lifted in early October. And then the government cannot pass any bill such as those $5 trillion dollar spending bill, and the government cannot raise any $1, okay, because the ceiling will be met in early October. So okay, what's the consequence? That means that both parties have this showdown at the Congress. All right, and the Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson said this. He said inflation is wiping out wage gains, deficit spending is mortgaging our children's future, and the Democrats need to take responsibility and be held accountable for adding trillions of dollars more to our national debt. Okay, so that's that.
And we'll come to California. So California now becomes a vote-by-mail state. Governor Gavin Newsom today signed Assembly Bill 37 to make permanent that every active registered voters in California will receive a ballot in the mail for every election. And it does not require voters to mail in their ballots, but assure that each voter is mailed one ballot about 30 days before the election day. In California, will continue to offer a variety of options to vote in person, and this law will take effective in January. All mail-in votes was one of the executive orders issued by Newsom during the pandemic. And this was also why he was sued by California Assemblyman Kevin Kiley, who is also the recall candidate, and another Assembly member, James Gallagher, for overreach. And it was actually, they won the case. According to the California Constitution, the legislature is tasked with changing election laws, and this should not have been done by executive fiat. So the lawsuit was won by Kiley and Gallagher, and Newsom was to seize his use of executive power to dictate the election law. But now, right after the California recall special election, the Democratic Party supermajority California legislature created this law to justify Newsom's executive order. And after 2020 election, some other states have actually moved to tightening up the voting requirements. For example, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into a law that include new ID mandate and a ban around-the-clock early voting. In Georgia, recently passed a law requiring voters to provide their driver's license number or other form of ID to get or return an absentee ballot, which actually was required by their state law.
Okay. So actually, last Friday we talked about Maricopa County, Arizona's election audit. And then Dr. Shiva's speech, I think Kathy presented that to you. And actually today is 100-page. The report by the auditing company called the Cyber Ninjas has a over 100-page report, and I went through that. And today, if you just Google Maricopa County election audit, you're gonna see virtually all the media report. Okay, on the front page of the Google search. Say the same thing. Biden won and Trump defeated again. GOP, move on. Don't try to wrestle with the issue that does not exist. So indeed, what is the essential finding of the Maricopa County audit? I just want to give you a some summary of the essentials because I went through those almost the entire report. I just want you to know. Okay, so first, the audit was conducted by 1,500 people, altogether with a total of 100,000 hours of time over a course of more than 5 months, and every ballot was checked by four times. Okay, and then the finding. Okay, first the hand count of the 2.1 million ballots. All right. The total count, total votes match the machine-generated number. Okay, so well, in addition, actually, Biden won additional 360. Okay, in the certified voting result of the last November 3rd, Biden won by like 10,500. Now he got another 360. So the number match, the machine number, and the hand count number match. And also these 360 are the main talking point of the mainstream media or leftist mainstream media, plus the search engine of Google. All right, but is that all? Is that the main thing? Trump was defeated again, and Biden won again. Actually, as a matter of fact, if you look at the report in an objective way, the report was written quite objectively. It does not have any finding, even any executive summary. Okay, stop short of deducing anything. The entire report of 100 pages are facts, are just fact. Okay, so in that sense, I think I feel the auditing company, deserve a thumbs up because they are not as called like inexperienced and a partisan kind of auditing company. Anyway, the report identified 35 different kinds of problems. All right, 35, and then the biggest one is the 300. The biggest one is the 23,344 ballots who were mailed back from address that is no longer valid. So basically, about 23,000 Maricopa County residents, they mail in the ballot from the address that they did not live there. Wow. So what happened? You can say, well, the ballot was mailing to them and they moved, so they could just got forwarded. So they still got the ballot and they mailed it back in. Is that true? Actually, Arizona voting law saying that there cannot be forwarded ballot. If the ballot mailed to an address, the person is not there, it cannot be forwarded. So there's only one chance to explain this 23,000 ballots. It's because somebody lived there and he know the people who still live there come back and say, you got my ballot, and he just, his buddy or whatever, his roommate, and then gave it to him. Do you believe so? 23,000 people, just it happened to all of them. This is one thing. Another is about 9,000 ballots. There are 9,041 more ballots mailing back than mailing out. All right. So that's of course that's a question. So basically, how can you receive more ballots than you mail out? And one explanation from the county is saying that in Arizona, certain people like a battered woman or judge, their names are withheld. Okay, they don't exist in the mail out list. So, but you have to count how many are they, and would that explain all the 9,041 ballots? That's another thing. Still, another category is about 5,300 ballots. Okay, 5,300 people voted in multiple counties. There are altogether 15 counties. So this about 10,342 people with the same last name, first name, and the year of birth. Okay, they voted in Maricopa County and then in 1 or 2 or 3 other counties. There's apparently some big problem. Anyways, altogether, if you count the unique, you assume some of them are genuine voters. So you got 5,300 ballots. That's not valid. So basically, there's 35 categories, and I went through 3 of them, and Kathy went through just one, just a few cases that Dr. Shiva raised. So let me summarize it for you. Okay, the total number, is the same. The machine count matched the hand count. So what does that mean? It only means the machine did not generate more ballots by itself. It does not explain that how genuine, how truthful those ballot is. So these 35 different type of problems cannot be thoroughly investigated because the company does not have all the data from the county, and the county did not collaborate with them. So they have to stop short. And because the auditing company is very objective, so they do not draw any conclusion. So it's really just a fact-presenting type of report. It did not and cannot conclude that there's no issue in that vote in that election. However, the mainstream media are just bold enough to take the conclusion, saying that there's no issue and Biden won even more. So as a journalist, media professional, I really feel terrible for my colleagues' work and how they pick the title of their report. And then, by the way, among all the other issues, such as the signature of the mailing envelope was never compared with the signature of the same person voted before. That's a big issue here. And then there's no the election system securities rules was not followed, and then the entire access to the machine of the voting machine is given to the Dominion company. Okay, the county staff does not have any control over that. And what's most concerning is this. Okay, the county overrode the entire activity log of the election management system at 5:14 p.m. of February 2nd, the day before the auditing happened. Okay, somebody churned more than 37,000 queries after the court order saying that audit can happen, and then wipe out all the activity log. And you wonder why. All right, but the county said, we have them all archived, but we didn't ask for it, so we didn't give it to you. So basically, the auditor left a lot of questions unanswered, and they cannot be answered because the auditing company do not have access of all the data. All right, so that teaches something about the future audit of same kind. The auditing company has to have access to everything, have to be able to turn every stone to find out what's under it. Without that, such auditing cannot be conclusive. That's the short summary and a catch-up report for the Arizona auditing. All right, let's move on to our feature story. How about that?
Okay.
Okay, let's move on. Safe Chat. Okay, if you have not installed it, please do so. And our staff, please post the link. We're going to talk about 2 feature story over there. The reason why we want to talk about it over there is because it's more sensitive. All right, okay. Anyway, let's move on. 1, 2,